I'm back with part 3, and I just want to summarise here. I've learned today that the Victorian Police, Horsham Victoria Police, are using Lincoln Parker as a tool to get at me. That's pretty bad. I believe also that the allegations that are made against me are somewhat slanderous and are somewhat things. See, the difference is I haven't said anything bad about Julie O'Brien. What I'm stating is her conduct, her ethical stance, and how she behaves as a police officer. She chooses the public life. She chooses that if you are in the public life, you choose to be scrutinised. You choose that you will be scrutinised. And if you're going to be doing this job, you have to understand people will scrutinise you. At the end of the day, I believe, and I put this proposal to the Horsham Police to put this to bed, is an undertaking. An undertaking is to be signed by me and Lincoln, and that we can move forward. I believe that's the only way that this matter is resolved, and also that I will be appealing in the county court the interim order that is placed on me. And I believe that Julie O'Brien, just remember, you need evidence. And under the Human Charter of Human Rights, the Charter of Human Rights states you can't use somebody's dossier file against them in any court case, because whatever's happened past is past. You cannot re-prosecute them for the same thing, and you cannot use it against them. I believe that I have enough people in Victorian government, and I believe I have enough people to say what you say about Mr. Guy is out of character, is character assassination, and also slandering his good name. And he may have a actually case within law to sue you and to sue the Victorian Police for stating things that you cannot back up with evidence. Evidence means you need more than enough proof in what you're saying. And I don't believe that you can use my dossier file, that's a Victorian criminal dossier file, against me. You cannot use that. That is against the law. And in a high court or a county court or Supreme Court in Queensland, that is against the law to go on that. You need evidence. And evidence means is, what's Mr. Guy done in the last 6 months? What has it got to do with Lincoln? When the police are somewhat encouraging, somewhat being unethical, what do you expect? As I said to you, we all can say things, but they don't mean anything. There is no evidence to say that I've stalked Lincoln at all. There's no evidence to state I am a risk or I'm a threat to Lincoln. I am not a threat to Lincoln. As my wife said, I am no threat to Lincoln. I am no threat. And what I'm saying to you is, I don't know this man, I don't want to know this man. The only relationship that I have is with my wife's 3 children. At the end of the day, Lincoln's got to build a bridge and get over it. And I put the proposal to Julie O'Brien that we need to look at an undertaking to be signed for the matter to go to court before January, and for this matter to be resolved. And I believe that then this matter can be dealt with. And I believe strongly that this issue can be resolved. Because if I challenge this in a high court, which I believe I have a case within the High Court of Australia, I've already approached a barrister, and that barrister's told me that I have a case within the High Court to take this and challenge this in the High Court against Julie O'Brien. The barrister's already stated to me that it's possible slanderous charges can be laid against. Under the Freedom of Information Act, this barrister had got the dossier files from Julie O'Brien's evidence. Everything's been looked at to the point, and really at the end of the day, Julie O'Brien is going on hearsay. And as this barrister's already stated to me that I have a possibly legal case against the Victorian government, that his advice is to see whether Julie O'Brien will follow the law. He would like Julie O'Brien to follow the law, which the Melbourne Magistrates Court has stated to me, and that is to look at taking it an undertaking and basically have this matter struck out of court and stop wasting valuable court time and stop putting pressure on the courts when they have other important pressing matters to deal with. At the end of the day, I think that there is a case building up against slanderous that the police are acting corruptly, that they are using Lincoln Park as a tool to get at Cameron, and at the end of the day, this matter must be stopped. This matter must be put to bed, and basically it is a matter of bringing this to someone's attention. So look, at the end of the day, I'm merely basically exercising my right to speak. No court order says they can silence you. Under the Australian Constitution says you are entitled to speak your mind, you are entitled to have your say, you are entitled to speak. And no court can order you to chop your tongue out. No court order can order you to be quiet, because you aren't breaking any laws by speaking. It is better to speak, and it's better to communicate than anything else. I just put the proposal to Julie O'Brien, if she wants all this to disappear, and basically stop using Lincoln Park as a tool for the Victorian Police to get at me, to somewhat do her job, and that is looking at resolving the issue by taking an undertaking out. But I will advise everybody in Horsham to avoid Julie O'Brien, have nothing to do with Julie O'Brien. If you are to see her in the street, if she is to talk to you and she said her name's Sergeant O'Brien, the law says, this is the Victorian law, and you can ask the ethical standards in it, and you can also ask police command, is that you are entitled, if you're not happy with an officer, you are entitled to ask for another officer. You are entitled to say, I'm not happy with her, she's in conflict of interest, she's also involved with this issue with this Cameron and Lincoln, I'm not happy with the decision she's making, I'm scared for my life, I'm scared that she's going to do something or charge me, and you have a right to say, well, I'm not comfortable with the situation, I want somebody else to deal with me. That is your right, and you can say, I don't want Julie O'Brien to be dealt with at all. I think it's about time people in Horsham to basically take a stance, protest against bully officers and officers that are not willing to follow proper procedures and policies. And I challenge Julie O'Brien that if this is all false in what I'm saying, and you are not pursuing using Lincoln Park as a tool to get at me, you will be looking at this undertaking. You'll be looking at ways to resolve the issue without the matter going further to court. And I've also said, Julie O'Brien, I have got a barrister to look into the issue. There is a consideration to actually sue the Victorian Police. There is also consideration legally to look at the Charter of Human Rights of Victoria, where they have been breached. I'm going to leave it there, and I hope that the Victorian justice system can prevail and realise that the Victorian justice system cannot deny a mother her rights to her 3 children. And why would a Victorian justice system deny a mother her right to her 3 children? I think it's enough is enough, and I think that really at the end of the day, Lincoln Parker needs to build a bridge and get over it. Debbie is not going to leave her 3 children. She will always be part of her life, and she'll always be involved in her life. And just for the record, Lincoln Parker, Debbie will contact you tomorrow at 6 o'clock according to the court orders and talk to her 3 girls. We are also at the present moment talking with legal aid about the improper use of legal aid when legal aid funding is not granted to you, and that you are using legal aid as a tool to attack your ex-partner, your ex-de facto partner. You're using legal aid to attack your ex-de facto partner, and this is not good. This is why people are, if merely, look, Mr. Parker, if you were to ignore and just get on with your life and stop doing things that are wrong, maybe then things wouldn't come upon you. At the end of the day, you have to look at the fact that it is possible that I, Cameron Guy, will sue you for slander. And I'll be looking at that very closely with my barristers, whether we can actually sue you for slander, and look at whether we can take it further, because at the end of the day, I have no problem signing an undertaking with you because I don't know you, and I don't choose to know you at all. All I know is my wife has 3 children, and those 3 children have a